Chapter 1. Asleep at the Wheel. Being a college student is not easy. Being a college student far away from home is even more difficult. You're out of your general comfort zone. You no longer have a safety net. You just have to kind of figure it out. And so you can imagine how difficult it was for me, being from a small suburban town in Mississippi, to relocate halfway across the country to Texas. I was away from my family, my support system, and everything I knew. I loved Texas and was able to establish a foundation in my life there. I met many wonderful people. I met the woman I married. We've been married for 7 wonderful years now. But college just wasn't quite home. You know, that feeling you get, like there's just something about home that makes the heart sing. Because of this, I would often hop in my car just in a spur of the moment and drive home. I would just get in the car and go, since it was only about a 7-hour drive. I literally went home every 2 or 3 weeks sometimes. I preferred to drive overnight because there was nobody else on the road except for me and the 18-wheelers. It was amazing because you could get anywhere you were going with no problem and little to no traffic. There's this one particular trip that I will never forget. I had woken up at about 6 a.m. after having gone to bed about 3 a.m. So I was working on about 3 hours of sleep. I spent my entire day running around from one event to the next, mingling with friends and catching up with companions. I was getting ready to head home for the holidays. So I hopped in my car around midnight, just as I had done so many times before. Little did I know, I was about to experience one of the most significant moments of my life. The trip typically takes about 5 hours from where I was in the Dallas area to Little Rock, Arkansas. I hoped to reach this checkpoint around sunrise since it's the home stretch after that. I had done this drive so many times before, and at first, this time was no different. I drove all night with no issues. I was moving and shaking, vibing out, listening to music, feeling great. That good feeling when you're in the car, you're just wide awake, and the need to sleep doesn't hit you until it does. And that is what happened to me. Little did I know that I was getting ready to enter the fight of my life. My eyes began to get heavy. So heavy it felt like the weight of the world was resting on each eyelid. I was doing everything I could to fight it. I was slapping myself in the face. I was patting myself on the head, pinching myself as hard as I could. I let my windows down so the cold air could blow in my face. But instead, my head just continued to nod anyway. I was delirious and couldn't even see straight, but I kept fighting and pressing on.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.